Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Muhammad Al-Kim Biazah and I'm a student from UiTM Puncak Perdana and study in Bachelor in Information System Management. For my IML subject, I have chosen IML601, which is about the publication and production of the information material. For my first assignment in this subject, I need to do some review about the novel, and the novel that I chose is Perfume, the Story of a Murderer, written by Patrick Susskind. Perfume, The Story of a Murderer is a 1985 literary historical fantasy novel that was written by Patrick Susskind. Susskind was born in Ambach, Bavaria in March 26, 1949. His father, Wilhelm Emanuel Susskind, was writer and journalist who worked for the South German newspaper and is famous as the co-author of the well-known publication, which is from the Dictionary of an Inhuman. The style of the novel can be characterized by the way it blends the fantasy and fiction with the factual information. That combination creates a two distinguishable narrative line, which is the fantasy one that conveys in the granular character by his supernatural sense of smell, his odorlessness, and fairy tale tone in the story, and the realistic one, which is composed of the socio-historical circumstances of the plot and naturalistic description. For example, the environment that the characters live. The novel realism is also visible through a description of historical perfumery practices. According to BUKU, the work gathered together and phrased in popular terms the state of the art of olfactory and perfumistic knowledge and spun it out into the realm of fantasy and imagination. The diction of the novel evokes the vivid sensory image. It links typically to visual cognitive activity, which is the sense of smell, which is represented by the way Granule perceives the world. He understands more through olfaction rather than the vision, and that is reflected in the language of the novel. For example, the verb novelly associated with the visual perception relate, in Granule's case, to the process of the smelling. Another conspicuous stylistic feature of the work is an extensive use of intertextuality, which has met with both positive and negative critical response. While Perfume received much praise for being original and imaginative, its citation structure has been either received generously for speaking to the reader's literary acumen, or recognized as a problematic due to the overload of inconstant allusion and pastiche, or being considered as a parody of the other works. There is a possible inspiration that Patrick Susskind has used to write this novel, which is the real-life story of the Spanish serial killer, which is the Manuel Blanco Romasanta, also known as the Tallow Man, who kills several women and children, then sell their clothes and extracted their body fat to make a soap resemble to the Granule method in some ways. The name of Jean-Baptiste Granule might be inspired by the French perfumer Paul Granule, who changed his name into Granville when he opened his luxury perfume house in 1879. The synopsis for the novel started with the introduction of Jean-Baptiste Granule, who has a unique talent for discerning the scents and smell that swirl around him, which he used to create the world's finest perfume. Strangely lacking any scent on his own, he became obsessed with capturing the irresistible but elusive aroma of young womanhood. As Granule's obsession turned deadly, 12 young girls are found murdered, and the panic breaks out as the people rush to protect their daughter. While an unrepentant and unrelenting Granule still lacks the final ingredient to complete his quest. There is three themes of the novel that I want to discuss in this video, which is the emotionally or mentally inadequate people, dark humor, and hatred of humanity. The first theme that I want to discuss in this video is black humor. Only a darkly ironic person will baptize an infant whose mother had been decapitated with the name of Saint John the Baptist. Perfume is infused with such a multi-level black humor. It is true that the Jean-Baptiste was a common name at this time, but the irony of the little Grenouille having to bear in his name for his mother's shame for his entire life goes beyond situational, transcend the humor into the realm of cruelty, with the scene of one mother constantly revisited on the son. The second thing that I want to discuss in this video is emotionally or mentally inadequate people that we convey in the character of Madame Gaillard, who was being brain damaged by a blow from her father in her childhood that have causing her is entirely incapable of emotion. She is also unable to smell anything, so Grenouille's lack of personal strength does not bother her. Thus, she raised him for years and with her as a role model. Grenouille did not have much chance to learn to feel regard for human beings or to have a normal emotional development. Already hampered by the horror of his birth, his strange fascination with his sense of smell, and his regrettable looks, he was not cared for with any kind of love or affection. His basic need was taken care of, and Madame Gaillard gave him away as an apprentice to Grimaud as soon as the parish stopped paying his room and board. Thus, Grenouille was never thought that he was a valuable human being, and therefore his psychotic tendency was magnified. The theme that I want to discuss in this video is hatred of humanity, that we can see in the Grenouille hatred of humanity. While not surprising considering his upbringing and early adulthood, is so complete that he retreats to the farthest point that he can get to get away from the smell of human beings. This takes the form of a 7-year hermitage on the top of volcano in the massive centrale in what amounts to solitary confinement. He retreats so far into himself that the only thing that matters to him is his own very pathological fantasy life. To call this is a hatred of humanity is an understatement, because Grenouille tried to be the only person in this world. Once Grenouille has concocted his ultimate sin, which is the scent that inspires love from all other human beings, Grenouille finds that he has no use for this love. It doesn't fulfill him, since he has no more sense world to conquer. As Alexander the Great was said to weep when there were no more country for him to conquer and add to his empire, Grenouille is ready to die. Nothing in this world other than the pursuit of scent has any attraction for him. No human being holds any interest or love for him, so he decides to die. His final rejection of humanity and life goes beyond a hatred for human beings and extends to himself. Grenouille is perhaps the perfect misanthrope. With translation into 49 languages and more than 20 million copies sold worldwide, Perfume is one of the best-selling German novels of the 20th century. The title remained in the bestseller list for about 9 years and received almost unanimously positive national and international critical acclaim. It was translated into English by John E. Woods and won both the World Fantasy Award and the Pen Translation Prize in 1987. Some editions of the novel, including the first, have as their cover image by Antoine Watteau painting Jupiter and Antiope, which depict as a sleeping woman. The setting for this novel was in 18th century in France. There are 3 characters that I want to focus in this video, which is the Grenouille mothers, Jean-Baptiste Grenouille itself, and the Plum girls. Grenouille's mother is unmarried and had 5 children. All but Grenouille was stillborn. After she gives birth to Grenouille, she is arrested for trying to abandon him, so she is being decapitated for infanticide. Jean-Baptiste Grenouille is the novel protagonist, born in 17 July 1738, with an innate prodigious sense of smell. His awareness of scent eventually caused him to conceive of capturing human scents, specifically those able to inspire love, which he lacked in his life. When he does succeed in this goal, he discovers it gives him no pleasure and causes him to only despise others for being so easily fooled. Lastly is the Plum Girl. Plum Girl is a character with a red hair with a magical scent. She is a Grenouille's first victim. if Grandma's mother is still alive and take care Grandma with the environment full of love, maybe Grandma will grow up to be a man with full of love and compassion that will help other people to change their lifestyle in the city. Then maybe the Plango will be still alive and married to the Granville because he showed the compassion side that he had and start a family which happily, and the ending of the novel itself will be different from the novel. Lastly, this novel also has an adaptation movie with a same title in 2006. This film was directed by Tom Tucker and starring by Ben Whishaw as Jean-Baptiste Granville, Alan Rickman as Antoine Riches, Rachel Hurd-Wood as a Laura Riches, and Dustin Hoffman as a Giuseppe Baldini. If you have reading the novel, you will notice that the ending for the movie will be different from the novel itself. So without spoiling the ending itself, I recommend this film to the people who are reading this novel. Warning: this film is 18 rated film because there is some scene that is improper for the kids and teenager. Watch with careful.
In 18th century France, Jean-Baptiste Grenouille was born with a talent that made him unique among mankind.
Stones, warm stones, water, frog.
His phenomenal sense of smell was a gift that had been given to him, and him alone.
Master, can I come to work for you? My nose knows all the smells in the world.
No man can call himself a perfumer unless he has proved his worth.
The soul of beings is their scent.
The intoxicating power of the girl's smell made it clear to him that he must learn how to preserve scent, so that never again would he lose such sublime beauty.
I'm creating a perfume.
Each perfume contains 3 chords, 12 notes in all.
There's a murderer out there!
One can only create a truly original perfume by adding one essence that will bring out.
Whatever his insane scheme, it will surely be incomplete without you.
A perfume of such power that every person on earth believed they were in paradise.
Alright, that's it from me. My name is Muhammad Amriki Mbiaza and thank you for watching this video.